Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. I'm back for another episode, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have back with me Jen Hardy. Jen is the Chief Operations Officer of the Academy of MotivAction. That's a mouthful. More importantly, she's a Schreiner girl, so that counts for a whole lot on this podcast. Austin native, and she's here to talk to us about an exciting new, I'm not sure if you'd call it partnership, joint venture, or other, that she and her partner, Arena, are in with Schreiner. So, Jen, first of all, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me back, Tom.
Jen, could you remind us what MotivAction is and how you guys have evolved the company?
Yeah, we're a neuroscience-based training and development company that supports high-stress professionals to get tools for resilience, communication, navigating themselves in emotionally difficult times, just really take care of themselves to not burn out and maintain their relationships at home and all the personal stuff that actually keeps them surviving or keeps them thriving, not just surviving.
Jen, when most people think of a high-stress job, they think of a first responder, police officer, firefighter, other EMS personnel. I think people now, certainly in this part of Texas, have evolved that thinking to teachers, business owners, or really any person who has had to deal with what we've had to deal with in Hill Country over the past year. And I was now wanted to turn to the part, I'm not sure what like to call it, but whatever it is with Schreiner, if you could tell us what it is, but more importantly, how you're going to be able to benefit people by working with Schreiner and why I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It's high stress professionals. It's either one of two things, right? It's only these people, or that describes everyone is what I've been hearing lately. And I think that's just the direction we're moving in, as people are just feeling like everything is high stress. But when we looked at frontline workers, being a former educator myself, the idea of frontline education feels that way in every way. And with Schreiner, it was an opportunity to have a university put their stamp on what it is that we're offering. It was an opportunity to get backed by somewhere that I grew up in and somewhere that trained me and made me who I am, and be able to support them and them support us. So it is a partnership. And specifically, it's with the Center for Talent and Workforce Development, which is a nonprofit that resides within the Schreiner Institution. So that's who we're officially actually contracted and partnered with. And they are on a mission to get out there and get the professional development both directly to the teachers, whether that be this summer, which I'll talk about shortly, where we have courses where people can show up and actually take them with us, or bring us onto a campus and support educators or staff or leadership or whoever in that way. So we're doing workshops, we're doing retreats, we're doing keynotes, we're doing convocations, whatever it is, and in whatever way we can support, whether it be the educator, the paraprofessional, the counselors, the principals, the leadership team, anyone that's within that educational system, public or private.
Jen, certainly in this part of Texas, when people think of high stress in education, unfortunately, they move to thinking about Uvalde. But this is not only about Uvalde. This is about a much broader range of, I don't want to say everyday stresses, but stresses that can come up in everyday life. And teachers in many ways are on the front line of this because they have children most of the day, every weekday. And that's the part, as the son of a teacher, I know what that was like. And maybe if you could describe the Institute at Schreiner a little bit. I've had the opportunity to hear Dr. Allen speak, but it sounds like it's a really exciting initiative that Schreiner is put on, that she is heading up to bring this focused training to a wider variety of educators than was previously available to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say the way I like to say it is, as a former educator myself, I feel like we're filling in a gap of training that teachers don't get. We're trained the basics. We're trained in our subject matter, obviously. We're trained in policies and procedures and creating lesson plans and pedagogy and this, that, and the other. But no one trains you for how to handle a kid that's freaking out. No one teaches you how to communicate with parents. No one teaches you how to navigate a difficult conversation with someone that's on your team when you're figuring out lesson plans and they have an idea, but so do you. And how do you put those together? The inter and intrapersonal communication skills, number one, just how to talk to each other. But then there's also the element that is even stronger in today's world, which is in navigating your own nervous system, if you will, when you feel flustered, stressed, frustrated, annoyed, upset, all the different things that happen as an educator, and it can happen quickly, especially when you're stressed out and burned out, and how to bring yourself back to neutral so that you can have the conversation that you're actually aiming to have, so that you can show up and be the teacher, the educator, the principal, the leader that you say you are in those difficult moments. We're not trained for any of that at all. And it just seems, it's so crazy to me to consider that's not involved in education curriculum to become a teacher. And I could be wrong. There could be universities, states, programs that now include it. I don't know of any. And I've heard from many different professional educators. They're like, yeah, no one teaches you that stuff. And it's where we feel like we can come in and fill in a gap, because today's students are not the same students as well. They're completely dysregulated when they come in because of the technology and the social media and the bullying and the right? All the things. And so you as an educator are having to regulate as many as 150 dysregulated nervous systems while you're not regulated. While you're stressed out, frustrated, and burned out is what I mean by dysregulated. Or just how to fight at home, or your kids are being annoying at home and something's going on with them, or they've got a lot on their plate. It's just a lot to balance, like it is for anybody. But in this case, it's raising our next generation.
Jen, last week I interviewed an author who was a son of a football coach. He is a football coach. And we talked about the skills a coach needs to bring to coach. For him, it was boys because it was football. You have also been a coach, and you coached women or girls in soccer. And so I really wanted to frame it around the skills that you had as a soccer coach can have incredible impact on a young woman, because I had skills imparted to me that I still think about from junior high football. Where were you able to learn the skills you used as a coach? Because sports can be a high stress. You can be upset. You can be happy. You can be pushing people beyond where they think they can go. You can be consoling them if they've made what they think is the worst mistake in the history of the world ever, and you lost a game. How can you bring all of those emotions and skills to bear to teachers? Because the impact of teachers is not limited to coaches. I still think about teachers I had and how they impacted me. It's a long-winded question, but when I was talking to that coach last week, I actually thought about you and what I've heard you talk about when you were a coach.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like first, I want to say the same thing applies when you're becoming a coach. You're also not taught this stuff. You're just thrown into the pit of fire way faster because you're there with kids every day and way more than you are when you are in the classroom. So it's either sink or swim when you're a coach. But yes, there are many skills that I had to figure out, understand, learn, bump up against, do wrong, and figure out how to be someone who, I think the easiest way for me to say it is, we're taught that you're supposed to ride a certain line of vulnerability, like how vulnerable you get with a student or with an athlete. And while I don't disagree with that, I also wholeheartedly disagree with it. There is a line, but how is that line defined, and what is that line? It's not, I don't need to overshare my personal problems. I don't need to pull the kids into my issues and drag them down with me. But at the same time, if I'm not understanding something, if I don't get it right, I don't need to pretend like I know what it's right. I don't need to pretend like I have it all pulled together. I can let them know, you know what? I'm not sure. Let's figure this out together. Or, hey, you know what? I had a bad day today. I need y'all to step up and help me out today. I'm not the one who's going to be able to hold this all together today. I need you to step up. And sports is really probably, in my opinion, one of the best places to learn resiliency, which is something that our kids are missing today in so many ways, because they do have to overcome and deal with all the things that are coming at them. And we need coaches who can, as you said, guide them and lead them and push them through those times to realize you can make it through, you will make it through, it will be okay. And that definitely resonates into the classroom. We still see these kids more than their families see them, whether we're an educator or a coach or both. We have the opportunity to make a dramatic impact on these kids. And I know that most teachers, they want that opportunity, but it's also terrifying. It is a lot of responsibility to be willing to put on your shoulders. And I think that's actually what stops a lot of people, is the responsibility of, what if I say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, or it's not right, and this goes whatever direction it goes. And that can be really scary.
The strategies, you talked about the different mechanisms you have to deliver this content. You talked about in person, you talked about online. Could you explain maybe the difference in your opinion as an educator in this arena from in person online? Because many of us consume a lot of training online now.
Yeah, we have self-paced, self-led courses. And while I think they can be great if you need quick consumable content, sure, grab it and go. They're well done, but to your point, there's nothing that can replace being in person. And it comes back to the same thing that all of this is about: being around other nervous systems, being around the energy of other people, and what that creates and brings to a space. Can you still create it online? To an extent. I still have a lot of great feedback with online courses where we're actually interactive and they're live, but there's just something to be said about the opportunity to be fully immersed in the conversation, to be fully immersed into what it is that you're learning, to be away from everything that's happening, right? You don't have the other distractions. You don't have the work around. You don't have the kid around. You don't have the phone around. You're fully engaged, which is few and far between in today's world.
What's Irina's role in all this?
Irina has actually stepped back quite a bit. So Irina has she's pulled back quite a bit more to be the actual CEO, to be focused, to be more focused on systems, processes, organization, the bureaucracy of it all, and really keeping things going. She still steps in certain trainings, but we hired our first new coach. Her name's Sarah Talley. She was at UT for 15 years in that admin and supporting kids who are figuring out their degree plans and their classes. And she's been in education in some way for a long time. She's incredible. I've known her for almost 20 years, and I'm so excited to have her on board. She is a fire wife, and she's also a former soccer player herself. So she's got the athletics in her background. She's going to be a beautiful addition to the team. So she's kind of stepping into my co-teacher role where Irina is stepping back as much. So Irina's pulling back a little more, depending on what the situation is. She'll probably be with me in Schreiner this summer, but eventually it'll be Sarah and I leading the majority of the courses.
Could you really detail for us, or give us, I should say in a little more detail, the course schedule for summer 2026?
Currently, we just have the one. We have June 23rd, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on campus at Schreiner. It's a full 8-hour day. You get full 8-hour credits. And we are really going to go into a lot of the stuff I just talked about, building your resiliency toolkit, because resiliency is an outcome. It's not something you just teach. Communication, understanding what's happening up in here so that you can actually walk away with some practical, applicable tools to do something about what's happening when you're feeling really dysregulated or not really sure how to move the conversation forward in one direction or the other. We're hoping to be getting more involved with other districts and other schools to figure out how we can bring PD to them, how we can support them the best way possible. We do have quite a few things on the schedule this summer with police departments and fire departments in the Round Rock area as well. Those are private opportunities. So currently Schreiner and we all just said, okay, let's throw one on the calendar and at least get something out there so that people can come check it out and see.
Jen, I, for one, am thrilled that you are back in a more formal association with Schreiner. I know you've never left, really. It's like the Hotel California. And to be excited with this new initiative at Schreiner University as well. Before we leave, I wanted to ask you if any of our listeners wanted to connect with you or find out any more information about either MotivAction or your work with Schreiner, what would be the best place or places for them to go?
Academy is our website, and that is the best place because it's all there. Our socials are there, our phone numbers there, our emails are there. Easy way to schedule calls with us, or me specifically, to be able to talk about what it is a little bit more in depth if needed, to talk about what programming might make the most sense for different campuses. All of that stuff's easiest to find right there.
Jen, thanks so much for taking the time to visit with me. I hope we can have a sort of end of summer debrief to see how you thought the program went and where you guys are going to take it in the fall and beyond.
Yes, sir. I hope so too.